You're watching LA's very independent KCOP. This is 13 Real News.
Good evening, I'm Ellen Leyva.
And I'm Ross Becker. Within the past hour, Southern California got another jolt. This time it was felt over a wide area, an aftershock to the January Northridge earthquake. Scientists at Caltech tell us that it was 3.6 in magnitude, centered about 3 miles north-northwest of the city of San Fernando. As far as we can tell, nothing damaged or hurt, but some rattled nerves, of course, from Marina del Rey all the way to Santa Clarita.
Sex and science are coming together in a new California test of the French morning after pill. Some don't trust the motive for the experiment. Others are shocked by what women will have to do to participate. Here's Deborah Snell.
The University of California Medical School in San Francisco will test the controversial drug RU-486 as an emergency contraceptive. All researchers need now is 150 women willing to have unprotected sex for medical science.
I don't want to be somebody's test dummy, somebody's experimenting animal or something.
If it's a time when I don't mind getting pregnant at some point, I wouldn't mind helping them.
The abortion pill or morning after pill would be given to women within 5 days of having unprotected sex. Dr. David Grimes describes this 14-nation international study as a new era in reproductive research.
This is not disrupting pregnancies, but rather preventing pregnancies.
No, it's not preventing pregnancy, it's killing a baby that is already developing.
Don't let them kill your baby!
Pro-lifers vow to fight the RU-486 project.
If RU-486 is approved for this use in the week after conception, it will certainly be used for abortion later in pregnancy, and that is the real objective of these abortion advocates.
And we hope that now that RU-486 will be evaluated as a morning after pill, that the next step will be to evaluate RU-486 as a form of medical abortion.
Clinical trials in Britain have already determined that RU-486 works as a contraceptive in high doses. San Francisco will study results from lower dosages.
It's a political issue when there's already a drug on the market to do the same thing.
The drug is?
Estrogen.
I don't want to be
not a proven drug yet.
I don't want to be untested, you know.
It's like a guinea pig.
While the hospital in San Francisco has the approval of the FDA to put together this study, it may be more difficult to get the approval of 150 women, especially during a time where there's so much awareness about things like AIDS and other sexually transmitted diseases. Deborah Snell, and this is 13 Real News.
The Singapore government breaks a long silence and shows American teenager Michael Fay a bit of mercy. He's the 18-year-old from Dayton, Ohio, who faces a caning sentence for vandalizing cars in Singapore. Tonight, the government there reduced the sentence from 6 lashes to 4. A couple hours ago, President Clinton agreed with the decision. An official statement tonight indicated the governments of Singapore and the U.S. are too close to do nothing, especially after the appeals from Mr. Clinton. The statement still wouldn't say when the caning would take place. Fay is serving a 4-month jail term for a vandalism spree last October.
Well, for the first time in more than 3 years, former LAPD Police Chief Daryl Gates is forced to a witness stand to defend his actions in the Rodney King incident. Brian Jenkins was there.
I think they said I ran a very good police department. They were pleased with the police department, if you read the report.
Former Los Angeles Police Chief Daryl Gates defending the Christopher Commission's assessment of his leadership. On the stand, he described his role as the LAPD's manager, saying he had a system in place within the LAPD to thoroughly investigate complaints about racism and excessive force. But Rodney King's attorneys say the Christopher Commission report shows that no such system existed, that instead, Gates set the tone for a department that tolerated racism and glorified force. King's attorneys pulled several pages of the report, citing 1,400 police computer messages that were either racist or that gloated about the use of force on suspects. King's attorneys pointed to passages from the commission's summary, which state there is a significant number of LAPD officers who repetitively misuse force. Excessive force aggravated by racism and bias within the LAPD. These problem officers were well known. The failure to control these officers is a management issue that is at the heart of the problem. The former chief's response?
Why don't we just refrain from asking any questions, and I'll let the attorneys ask me those questions tomorrow.
In his deposition, he blames the deputy chiefs and says they weren't worth a damn. So you will find that basically Chief Gates is going to blame the deputy chiefs and not himself. But that, I think, it goes in the face of logic and the evidence.
We will show where the chief has made certain admissions regarding racism, regarding sexism, regarding the use of excessive force. And I can only say, and I'm not teasing you, that we will show that tomorrow.
Question is, can they show Rodney King's beating was a direct result of Gates' knowledge and subsequent inaction regarding police misconduct? So what do they have to prove here? That he mentioned acquiescence?
That he caused it, that he participated in it, and that caused the Rodney King incident.
Tomorrow, the judge will decide just how much of the Christopher Commission report is admissible against the former chief. In downtown Los Angeles, Brian Jenkins, 13 Real News.
First-degree murder, obviously something Robert Chan didn't want to hear. But that was the verdict today. It took jurors just 2.5 hours to convict him in the torture death of honor student Stuart Tay, something prosecutors say Chan did all by himself.
He said, number one, I agreed to participate. He knowingly joined this conspiracy. And number two, he knew that the object of this was to kill Stuart Tay.
Jurors also didn't buy Chan's paranoia defense. Chan claims Tay was going to kill him, so he got Tay first. 2 years ago, Tay was clubbed with baseball bats and a sledgehammer before alcohol was poured down his throat, all because of an alleged computer robbery scheme gone bad. Police arrested 5 suspects in Tay's murder. All say Chan masterminded the killing. Chan faces a life sentence. He'll be sentenced June 3rd.
The Simi Valley Police Department is investigating a high school baseball coach for what officials are calling financial and disciplinary improprieties. Hal Eisner's live in Camarillo with this exclusive story. Hal?
Ross, this is what Michael Cyphers, coach of the Simi Valley baseball team, has to show for all of his years in coaching. Plaques representing 16 winning seasons and 9 league championships, all at Simi Valley High School. But tonight, the man who's been the driving force behind the school's baseball program has been driven from his coaching responsibilities. This morning, Cyphers was suspended from working with the kids by Simi Valley Unified School District officials, and police say they're looking into possible criminal violations.
Within the past 2 weeks, the department was contacted by the Simi Valley Unified School District, and they indicated to us that they had a baseball coach, Michael Cyphers, who may have been involved in some improper financial dealings as well as some improper disciplinary proceedings as they pertain to the varsity baseball team.
All right, Coach, what do you think this is all about?
Well, Hal, I'm not real sure. It's been a big mystery to me since I got to school this morning.
But you have an idea here.
Well, you know, they mentioned some disciplinary actions that we use in our program. Basically, the block system. If that's the problem, then I don't really have much of a problem explaining that.
Okay, now you've actually learned about one parent who complained to the school district about this blocking system. What is this blocking system?
Well, basically,
would you show it to us?
Sure. If a kid gets if he does anything that violates team rules, he gets placed in the block. Kids
like an auction block.
Like an auction block. Kids will bid $1, $2, $3, that type of thing.
Use me for an example.
Yeah, and let's say you're on the block, and then some other kid will come up. He'll bend over if the kid that wins the bidding, and he'll take keeping both feet on the ground, hand extended. He'll take one swat, and it's a thing that the kids all vote on. It's a unanimous thing. And
one whack though.
One whack, and it's something that we've been doing for 15 years. We've had this. It's not like I've been hiding this block system.
But you know, here in the 90s, there are parents who would say that all sounds very barbaric, and encouraging kids to hit other kids as part of a disciplinary program.
Yeah, you might be right with that. And again, I leave it up to the kids on what they want to do. It's more of a camaraderie thing, and again, a thing that they really enjoy doing. And I say, hey, we don't have to do it. If you want to do it, let's do it.
You're being investigated by the police tonight on criminal violations.
That's what I've been told. And if that's the criminal violations, then I really don't have too much to worry about, I don't think.
All right. School district officials are not talking about this tonight. And I can tell you from having been over at the campus, we talked to an awful lot of students. They support the coach. Reporting live from Camarillo, Hal Eisner, 13 Real News.
There's new tension in Tijuana tonight. Mexican federal police have detained a state deputy attorney general for questioning. The incident this afternoon prompted an angry response from state police that led to an armed standoff in the government center. Sergio Ortiz Lara, who had been questioned 2 months ago about the March 3rd shootout between federal drug agents and corrupt state police, was taken from his state judicial office to the federal building. When his supporters arrived to challenge the detention, federal police armed with AK-47s emerged, apparently to guard the building where Lara was being held. This incident comes less than a week after Tijuana's police chief was gunned down.
All right, the weather now for Southern California. There is a slight chance of rain, but by the weekend, be prepared for some beautiful skies.
The complete forecast later. Also tonight, pictures of horror from Rwanda, helpless children mutilated, thousands homeless. It's now being called the killing fields of Africa.
We have prepared for every eventuality.
But in Pasadena, well, are they prepared for this? It's the image of World Cup soccer. And a real showstopper on a busy street in Santa Monica, all in the name of rape and art.
The Brita water filtering pitcher. To operate, turn on the tap. The tap water flows through Brita's replaceable filter. Copper and lead are dramatically reduced. Chlorine taste and odor virtually eliminated. But even if you don't remember how Brita works, you'll never forget how Brita tastes.
Available at the Broadway and other fine department stores. People say I don't look like a mom. I say this is exactly how a mom should look and dress. I shop at Mervyn's for clothes that make me feel attractive, comfortable, even a little sexy. Shocking, isn't it? And right now, Mervyn's has a lot of great styles on sale for under $20 a piece, even shoes, so I don't have to pay department store prices to get what I want. That way I look good and act smart. The perfect combination for a mom, if I do say so myself.
Mervyn's, fashion for the real world. Right now, celebrate mom with great savings.
In 50 years, KFC has never changed the Colonel's chicken. Something that good isn't so easy to improve on, but we found a way. So we're changing it. Now our chicken breasts are a full third bigger than before.
Try our whole chicken family meal. For only $9.99, you'll get 8 pieces of the Colonel's delicious chicken, your choice of any 2 large sides, and 4 fresh baked biscuits. All this for just $9.99.
So come into KFC and we'll give you more of the taste you love.
Well, I'll be taking care of business.
For 10 days in July, Western Canada becomes overrun with cowboys and Indians. Because when the Calgary Stampede opens for business, so does the greatest outdoor show on earth.
Taking care of business.
And when the Calgary Stampede needs office products, they take care of business at Office Depot. Because nobody guarantees a bigger selection at lower prices.
Taking care of business.
Office Depot.
We've seen projections where even by the end of the century, which is now only 6 or 7 years away, health costs could double if we don't do something to reform our healthcare system.
Healthcare was the key issue today when the nation's largest organization for retired people met in Anaheim. Larry Atterbury reports.
It's called the American Association of Retired People, and 30,000 of its most vigorous members have descended on Anaheim for a 2-day convention. There are hundreds of exhibits, from interactive TV to video phones, and a house that's designed to make living easier for seniors, including soft bathroom floors and grab bars. There will also be votes on issues, including health care. AARP's plan came out before President Clinton's proposal and is almost identical. Universal coverage for everyone, cost containment, including maximum prices for medical treatments, and broad-based financing. Everyone must pay something. The plan is currently being debated in Congress by 5 separate committees, and AARP plans to lobby against some proposed cuts.
Lightening the burden on smaller business, on cutting back on the benefit package, on the cost of the benefit package, and on delaying or weakening some of the cost containment provisions that the president has proposed.
Not everything at the convention is serious business.
We're having so much fun.
There was an overflow crowd to hear Dr. Ruth talk about sexuality. Don't analyze, she says. Enjoy.
It also takes some time to touch and to be with each other, and not just to think that it has to be like when they were 20, 1, 2, 3 into bed.
There is financial advice.
I think the first thing that people ought to do if they work for a company, they ought to see whether or not they have a 401k or a tax-sheltered savings program of some type, and start with that.
And a reminder that you are only as old as you feel.
Those who want to stay in the workforce should be allowed to do so, instead of discriminating against them and say they're too old to do something.
Most are finding information they can use.
I'm director of a senior citizen program, and I find a lot of information that I can go back and share with my senior citizens.
I'm very interested in Medicare, a medical program, health insurance reform.
So that will help?
That will help.
I teach diet, nutrition, and exercise, so I'm picking up all kinds of things that would be useful for